Okay, so when we're talking about a rhombus, we're still talking about a parallelogram. All four sides are congruent. We could also call it an equilateral quadrilateral because all the sides are the same. Okay, so if I want to put everything that's congruent, all the sides are congruent to each other. The angles are not all congruent to each other. Those guys are congruent, and these guys are congruent. So it has all the properties of the parallelogram. The other thing it has is that the diagonals are perpendicular. So when the diagonals cross, there are 4 right angles. Okay, so opposite sides are parallel, opposite sides are congruent, opposite angles are congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary. So those are all the things about a parallelogram. So let's call this rhombus ABCD, and the measure of DMC is a right angle because all these angles in the middle, which is like, if one's a 90, they're all 90, right? Okay. So a parallelogram is a rhombus if and only if each diagonal bisects the opposite angles. So let's look at what that means is that these guys are the same. These guys are the same. These guys are the same. So the diagonals cut the angles in half, bisects them, cuts them in half. Okay, so let's name our rhombus J. Oh, I don't like green. We all know that. J, K, L, M. J, K, L is the 88. So that means MKL, this half of it, is going to be 44 because it's cut in half. And KJM is going to be 180 minus 88, which is going to be 92. Alrighty. No, and I always forget, like we should put the little square in front of JKLM. All right, so pause for a minute, try and do the next one. Let's call the rhombus CARS, because you kind of have to. Okay, so these are angles. So A to S to R is right there, and that's 2x plus 6. A to S to C is 5x minus 12. And remember, those are bisected, so they're equal to each other. So 5x minus 12 equals 2x plus 6. 3x equals 18. X equals 6. And the measure of CAR. So the measure of this angle is going to be double, the same as angle S. So I'm going to put 5 times 6 minus 12 is 30 minus 12 is 18. That means this one's 18 and this one's 18. So altogether it's 2 times 18, which is 36 degrees. Okay. Squares, you could probably write down everything there is to know about squares. So they have 4 congruent sides. They have 4 right angles. That's probably all you know, but that's pretty much most of it. We'll talk about diagonals, but there you go. So a rhombus is a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. And a rectangle has 2 sets of parallel lines. Actually, let's write it this way. Opposite, because that's how we wrote it before. Opposite sides are parallel and congruent. And it has 4 right angles. So, a rectangle is a combination of a square is a combination of a rectangle and a rhombus. So, you can think of a square as a rectangle with 4 congruent sides. Or you could think of it as a rhombus with 4 right angles. So a rectangle could be a square. A rhombus could be a square. A square is always a rectangle and a rhombus. We also would call a square a regular quadrilateral. Remember, regular means all the sides are congruent and all the angles are congruent. All right. So let's draw and label a square A, B, C, D. So here's my try at a square. I wonder if it'll put it all together. Oh, look at that. Not bad. Okay. We're going to call it A, B, C, D. All the sides are equal. All the angles are right angles. All the corners are right angles. The diagonals, so here's where we get in kind of like with what the rhombus is too. The diagonals make right angles. They're all equal to each other. And they bisect the corners, so this would be a 45, and this would be a 45. So this is like everything is divided equally and everything matches. So squares are the easiest because everything's the same. So let's change to opposite sides are parallel. All sides are congruent. All angles are 90 degrees. The diagonals are perpendicular. And congruent. And they bisect each other. And they bisect the opposite angles. I don't need that part. Nope, I need some of that part. Opposite angles. All right. So we're going to assume all these are squares. So let's name the square. Square D O G S. All right, all the sides are the same. 5x minus 4 equals 3x plus 2. 2x equals 6. X equals 3. SO is the diagonal. Okay, so basically what we know is that I can put my 3 in here. So this is 3 times 3 plus 2, which is 11. This one is also 11. So that means SO is the hypotenuse, and I can do 11 squared plus 11 squared equals C squared. This is a 45, 45, 90. So if you happen to remember, it is 242. And if you square root both sides, SO is equal to 11 times the square root of 2. Alrighty. The next one we're going to say is ABCD. So this one's easy because 4x equals 90, 6y equals 90, and 11z minus 9 equals 90. So if 4x equals 90, x equals is it a decimal? Yes, it is. 22.5. If 6y equals 90, then y equals 15. And if z equals 90, or if 11z minus 9, 11z is 99, z equals 9. Okay, so we didn't have to try and like put anything equal to anything except they all equal 90. All right. So let's draw a square. Q, U, A, D. All right. QU is 2x plus 2. UA is 24. AD is 3y. Okay, so I'm going to do these two sides, but all the sides are equal, right? So actually, they're all 24, so I can already find the perimeter because it's going to be 24 times 4, which is 96. All right, but we're going to do 2x plus 2 equals 24. 2x equals 22. X equals 11. And then we're going to do 3y equals 24. So y equals 8. Alrighty, looks like I didn't do that the next one. And I don't know why. So let's just do that. Okay, so AE is 3x minus 3. EC is negative 2x plus 17. And DE is x plus 5. So all of those are equal to each other. So really you just need to pick 2. So let's do those 2. 3x minus 3 equals x plus 5. 2x equals 8. X equals 4. Now, a good way to check is we'll substitute that in and see if it works. So 3 times 4 minus 3 is 9. Negative 2 times 4 plus 17. 17 minus 8, that's 9. 4 plus 5. So we would expect them all to be the same, and they are. Okay, I bet a bunch of these are going to be 90s. D to A to B is a 90. A to E to B is a 90. So remember, these are 90s, and these are 90s. C, A, B is half of 90. B to E to C is 90. And D to C to A is 45.